Welcome back to the channel, y'all. I'm
Hi,
JB,
I'm Nada.
and we just finished watching the full season of Paradise.
Yes.
So
Let's
let's talk
talk
about
about
it.
it. All right. So, have y'all been watching Paradise?
Cause it's so good,
We
y'all.
love this show.
Love this show,
Like
y'all.
every single week at the end, because it always ended with like a little
Good,
cliffhanger
really
kind
good
of
cliffhanger.
situation. Yeah, we just decided, hey, why don't we jump in at the end and do like a full season review? We're gonna talk first about the last episode, the finale episode, and then we'll just give like our thoughts of
The whole season.
entire season. Okay. So let's jump into it. And again, just so you know, we are talking about the show.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Full spoilers
We're talking
ahead.
about the show. Okay. So if you haven't seen it, go ahead, just get off the video. Watch all 8 episodes. You can knock them out and get you a little binge session going on.
Yeah, whole season out. So.
Okay. And then come back, get in the comments, and let's talk about it. All right. You got your spoiler alert. But okay. How are you feeling about the finale?
I thought it was really good, y'all. I had a good time with the show. I thought that they tied it really well up together. They did leave a couple of cliffhangers because we know it's going to be a season 2.
Yes.
So, they tied up the main threads. And they left a few there so that we know where season 2 could pick up. But I really enjoyed it.
I did too. Okay, we got to give our shout out real quick. Sterling K. Brown.
Man, Sterling K. Brown is
You
amazing.
did your big job on this show. We're so happy for you. We're so proud of you.
So happy for you.
Fellow St. Louis native. But yeah, I had to give a shout out.
And I hope he gets an Emmy for this.
Listen.
For real.
Okay, because y'all know, I think everybody's consensus, I'll just say this now, is that episode 7
was the best episode.
The best.
Yeah. Baby
boy acted.
Yeah.
Okay? Acted. His tail off. I was like the whole time. Okay. The other thing I wanted to point out, Dan Fogelman. So I'm a This Is Us fan. Watched all of This Is Us. And one thing that I loved about this is you can just tell like his style. If anybody else watched This Is Us, do you see the similarities between This Is Us and Paradise? Anyway, one of the things that he does very well is starting like a loose thread over here and then like weaving it back around, and then like you get to go see where this started. He ties in things from the past and the present very, very well. He did that really well in This Is Us, and that's what he did in episode 8 of Paradise, essentially. Because, oh, go ahead.
No, I was actually gonna say I didn't watch This Is Us, so she watched that initially. So one of the things that I thought was really cool was how you were saying that he ties those threads. It felt like every episode at the beginning had like this like symbol or message or like motif where it was like an example of something that happened in the past that then we get to the present while they're in the cave, and then this shines a light why that was important, like why that moment meant.
He does that so well.
Yeah.
And I think there's a little bit of controversy about it. Like some people don't like it, but it's one of the things that I love about him as a creator. So I appreciated that. So when we get into episode 8, we figure out the librarian the whole time has been the one who was trying to kill
the president,
Cal, at the very beginning, episodes ago. But then they go even further back. Like he likes telling a good story. So the whole setup was about like him and a friend of his that was actually mining in the cave. And they got exposed to like some type of element or something.
Sulfuric acid or something like that.
That was killing them. And like eventually everybody who was going to make it would be fine. But all the people who put their blood, sweat, and tears
into building
expecting it wouldn't. Yeah. Like, this show has so many different layers, okay? Because this is talking about like socioeconomic status. This is talking about people who helped building the country, not living off the profits of what they built. Like, this is deep.
Really, it's a really symbolism.
Deep show. Yes,
really good.
So okay, did you think his reasoning was enough? Because you got to see him start to like unravel and lose himself. I mean, the man went to jail, broke out of jail, like all of that. Did you feel like his reasoning for killing the president was like sound enough? Like, were you expecting it to be that? What were you expecting?
So I really didn't know where they were going to go with 8 because I was too wrapped up in like what's going on with the daughter and what's happening, everything else, and like the wife. So I kind of didn't expect the backtrack that they made for the assassination attempt that happened in, I think it was episode 1. Really. So that was really cool.
Yeah, I think so.
I did like you seeing his level of dissent. Like I forgot his name.
Me too. The librarian. We're just gonna call him the librarian.
But I did like seeing his dissent and like how, you know, I couldn't tell if he was having like a romantic relationship with the other guy, Adam. I couldn't tell if like he was like liking him more than just a friend because he seemed like really, really close.
I don't think so. I get why you can feel that way.
There were certain times where like the camera would just pan on both of them, or would like look at them in a light that made me feel like, is there a little bit more?
But
I couldn't tell. Yeah.
Either way, we know he was somebody that was really important to him.
Yeah, and he cared a lot about his friend, and he was like trying to warn him and stuff. But Adam was he was African. He was sending money home to his family and stuff. So we see why he was very committed to his job because he wanted to take care of his family. But like, just seeing the dissent of the librarian, and then coming around for him to be the assassin, and like he's the one who tried to kill the president. Like I didn't see that at all.
I did not see it at all.
Or I didn't see the librarian sneaking into the cave.
Yes,
that was cool.
That now I did like that, except for the fact that like we kind of felt when he was going through like with the whole band thing that they would have given more pushback. I don't know, that woman that was checking the band, she seemed a little weak.
Yeah, that was I was like, maybe. So you telling me the security, like this is like
only should have the most security 25,000 people
in the United States
are supposed to be in here because the woman that what was her name, Maggie. The woman she was portraying looked nothing like her. She looked so much older than her.
And you tell me all the technology that they had, none of them had like profile pictures. You know what
I mean?
But
it was pictures up there.
Oh,
but he started crying and hyperventilating and stuff, and she was just like, "Come on through, come on."
And I was like,
"Y'all need a little more stern security."
Yeah, that was a little
because the
weak.
Entire country is trying to get inside this bunker.
Yeah.
So okay, that part was a little but how he went about it, like, I mean, the man shaved his head, like he all of that.
He found that family. I don't even know if he meant to find the actual librarian.
I don't
and his
think
wife.
He meant to find anybody because of where he was positioned and like traffic and stuff. I think he was just trying to find anybody because he knew there was a place being built.
He built it, right?
Yeah, he already knew that.
Yeah.
So I think he was just trying to find anybody that had actual access to it. And I guess he was like, if I look close enough like you, I'm gonna try it.
But taking the police uniform from the prison, sneaking out, taking the real librarian and his wife around the bend, killing them, then and then finding just finding like a random person. I was like, that part was a little.
Did you have to bring her along? They could.
Well, he needed someone to be the wife. Like
he that would have been somebody. To.
Oh, I guess no. I guess
she could have just not made it like Xavier's wife.
No, you're right. No, you're right.
So I don't feel like he just needed. I mean, he said you in the right place at the right time.
Right.
Okay, he's an on-time God. So I think it being the librarian was a good unexpected surprise because. I don't know. At what point did you think maybe it wasn't Sinatra? Like she wasn't behind it? Because I really just felt like she was behind it.
Yeah, like at no point did I think to look anywhere else. I just had it in my mind that Sinatra was this monster. And even in episode 7, she was just like how she was manipulating Sterling or Xavier, and she was like, maybe I am a monster. And she was like leaning into this idea. I'm like, bro, you crazy.
She was annoying.
And so I never thought to look anywhere else because it just felt
like it was her. And I mean, she kept saying it wasn't her, but like, I mean, she could have been lying.
Yeah.
And then at times it seemed like she cared more about getting the iPad back than actually figuring out who murdered him. So I don't know. I felt like it might have been her the majority of the time.
And y'all, speaking of the iPad, Jeremy Bradford, his son, he's speaking the gospel. He out there, he had the
preaching.
iPad. He was preaching, boy. He was
the
telling
good
the people.
Word.
It was so funny, bro.
Stood up on that truck. He like, people that be on the side of the street that's got their little bone box talking about prepare ye the way of the Lord.
Yeah.
That was Brother Jeremy.
It was. Brother
Shout
I
out
like
to
that.
Brother Jeremy. Okay. Yeah. I like that. Because what happened? When did he find out that Sinatra had his daughter? At the beginning of 8?
No, it was in 7. It wasn't at the end of 7?
At the end of 7.
Yeah.
But like the beginning of it is when they start talking and he ends up letting all the people go.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So that whole storyline made me mad. Why this girl? I mean, of course, we know what Jane.
So,
Jane,
okay, yeah.
Jane.
Let's talk about Jane for a second.
Let's give it and talk about Jane.
So, one, I feel like Jane is way more skilled and much more of like a dangerous wild card than she's letting on. And I say that because
she got to be.
At the point when Xavier was going to kill Sinatra, and y'all, I was yelling at my TV for him to kill Sinatra. I was yelling.
I didn't want him to kill her because Crazy Jane still had the daughter.
That's true.
So no, but I wanted that man to shoot that woman so bad. Shoot her in the foot, something, little flesh wound. She would have been all right.
Yeah, she would have been.
But
good.
Shoot her, so you know we serious. So you know we mean business. Sorry.
But I will say that it was cool when Jane. Well, not cool, but I'll say when Jane shot Sinatra in like the collarbone or something. I'm not quite sure where. It looked like it was like above, like right here, but it wasn't the heart. It was like. It felt very like precise. I was like, okay, so you are good enough shot to like shoot someone and make it look like maybe they're dead or dying and know that they won't die. Like that takes a lot of what I would consider a lot of precision.
She got skills.
Yeah.
And she's crazy.
Yeah.
Because she did it over a week.
Y'all, come on.
So if you go back to when Billy and her were playing the Wii and that was the whole thing, I was like, there's no way they could be doing all of this, shutting the cameras down just so they can play the Wii. I thought it was something else under there. Then the fact that this girl brought this dang on Wii back up,
I was like,
something's wrong with you. Because how are you a psycho? You a psycho killer that's like very childlike.
And also, if she was willing to do all that for just the game
for
system,
the Wii,
it really makes me think in season 2, if someone actually pisses her off, if someone actually makes her mad, she gonna go off
in the win. Because Xavier, they know that like the little girl was with her, but right now it just seems like, oh, she was comforting me because Billy is dead. And that's it.
Lying.
Little sweet fake Jane.
Man.
Yes. So I wanted him to shoot her though.
I did too.
I hate that he had to let everybody go, so that I hated that. But he was determined to figure this out. So what else kind of made me mad? So,
okay, this is something I think we both were talking about before. I really had to suspend my disbelief when the show was telling us that when the librarian was explaining his plan and how he killed the president, I'm like, so the librarian climbed up the outside of the balcony, missed all the gates, all the guards, all the cameras.
Okay.
This like middle-aged man, it must have been really easy for him to get up
there. He was
a
little heavy.
And then bludgeon him with that mining tool, like bludgeon the president, like hit him, and then get out. And I'm just like, that was.
So guards, I'm gonna say. Well, we know the cameras were disabled.
I get, yeah.
So the guards was playing weak.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. That's still hard to. It was just kind of hard to believe.
I think that stuff is fine, but how he get up there though?
Okay, yeah.
That no.
He made it all the way to the president's bedroom, and like Nobody saw nothing. Even if the camera's off, no guards heard footsteps.
I don't know. Where else could he have gone? Maybe he went, I don't know, some other kind of way. But that was a big man to be trying to shimmy up into that balcony.
It was. And I was like, okay, I guess.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Want to do questions?
Yeah. So okay. we got a couple of discussion
questions. I got a couple discussion questions for you. All right. This is the big one. Whose fault is it? Can't talk. Whose fault is it that Xavier's wife, Terry, doesn't make it to DC and dies and, well, not dies, but, is left? Whose fault? Is it Cal's fault, Xavier's fault, or is it Terry's fault?
I feel like it's complicated. I feel like, well, one, it's a little bit of Terry's fault. Initially, I was going to say Cal's fault because I felt like, he could have told Xavier a little bit more information. He could have warned him a little bit better. He even told Xavier in episode 8, episode 7, that we'll go get her. I'll send somebody. He could have been more on that, but he wasn't. And so I kind of feel like it was his fault. I'm looking at it now. I'm like, I guess it could have been Xavier's fault a little bit.
It was Xavier's fault 100%.
100%.
85.
She feel like, okay.
Okay, here's why. The president did what he could do. Mm-hmm. He told him, hey, it's something happening. You're going to want your wife to be close. Mm-hmm. So when he heard that she was gone and leaving, he's like, no, you need to tell her she needs to come back. She needs to stay. He made sure Xavier got to Terry before she left to go to Atlanta. He was trying to stop him. He's the president of the United States. He can't tell this man everything.
And that's fair.
But Xavier knew enough to know that there was this Versailles, what was that the code word for it? He knew that there was this Versailles code word where him and a few other people were going to be getting the president out to go to some remote location. And I'm increasing the percent because think about this. He brought him in to the Oval Office and told him about the event that was going to be taking place.
Oh, the cataclysmic event. Yeah.
I forgot.
That's a good one.
It was his fault.
That was a good one.
The president had briefed him already. Why didn't I remember that?
I forgot about that.
It's Xavier's fault. If the president of the United States is telling you already know this terrible event is about to take place, you don't know exactly when, but the president is saying, nah, keep your wife close. Don't pull up on Terry and just say, please don't go.
Do you think Terry has any fault?
Terry got 5% fault.
Okay.
Because at that point, he had no sense of urgency about keeping his wife safe. I placed for his black queen, he didn't apply no pressure. He didn't. And so Terry is thinking, this is my job. He knows this is my job. This is what I just have to do. Like, baby, I gotta go. I love you, but I gotta go do my job. If he would have been like, I can't say that word. Say the word for me. Cataclysmic.
Oh, cataclysmic.
There we go. That event. One. Say it again.
Cataclysmic event.
And and the president said, you do not need to leave DC because we got to get out of here. He already knew that there was a plan to get out.
Yeah, you're right.
It's his fault.
That's a good point.
There was no sense of urgency. I got a problem with that. Sterling. Xavier. I got a problem with that. Keep your wife safe. And now he got all this big energy for Cal. He's a president. He had the entire nation to think about. How was he going to get one plane to go get her? Like how? No. Yeah. All right. So you still saying Cal? I'm saying it was Xavier. Next question. Was Cal wrong or right for going back and addressing the nation and kind of telling them the truth? Like, you all are getting ready to die.
I think he was right in doing this.
Okay.
I know it was going to spell disaster because the whole country was going to go crazy and chaos was about to ensue. But if this is our last chance to be alive, I feel like at least I know what's actually happening, and I got a chance to spend it with. He gave the people one last chance to spend it with whoever he wants to spend it with. This is the last moment. So I mean, you could lie, but I mean, I don't know. You're robbing them of the last few moments they have alive. I just feel like that is more important than giving them that chance, or that even if it's just driving home, like we can't escape. Even if it's just driving home to be with the people I love, my children or whatever, that I feel like is more important in those last moments if the world is about to be destroyed than lying, than trying to keep order and chaos. Like chaos is going to ensue, but I'd rather have the time.
Okay. So you feel like
I'm going to die in 10 minutes, whatever. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. So if I have to rearrange my priorities because I know the truth, I'm going to go home and be with my wife. I'm going to go home and be with your kids or whatever. Okay. I don't know. I just feel like that's,
So I think they were trying to show, what's the actor's this? Cal, the president. What's his
James
name?
Marsden.
The entire time, not even just in this episode, the entire season, there has been this struggle and debate on like whether or not he is a good president, whether or not he has just like been put in this role because of his daddy, and like figuring out what's the right thing and the best thing to do. I think that's been a struggle for him the entire time, like knowing if he can stand on his own. And I think he just took a moment to stop and think like, what kind of president do I want to be? And although it did ensue chaos, and it's like, do you put your heart first? Because in the end, like, I'm sure way more people like randomly ended up dying because he let them know. I mean, think the prison riots, all of these things sparked because of how he addressed them. But I get why he felt the need to address them. Like,
it's like,
this is your last moments.
If I'm going to have just like 10 more minutes, like I would.
And it's because he saw that janitor cleaning. And he just kept cleaning, and everybody was kind of trickling out, and he was like, oh, it's gonna be fine, everything will be okay. And he like, no, bro, everything is not going to be okay. Go home,
be with your family.
And you see this tension all throughout. Man, episode 7
was fire, y'all. That episode was different.
It was great.
Like 8 was good, but 7 elevated the show. Like, I don't know. 7 just elevated for me.
I think some people also might feel like 7 had all of this momentum, and then 8 kind of stalled down a little bit. You learned a lot of things, and you got a lot of backstory, but like this energy, because there was a certain point in the season where Xavier, like,
the heat began to pick up. So in 6, I think the heat began to pick up in 6 when he was like getting the guns, and he was getting the group together, and he was like, we finna storm, we finna take the city, we finna do this. I was like, okay.
Did they get the guns before or after they put the thing in the sky, the message in the sky? They got the guns after that.
After.
When they put the message up in the sky,
it felt like they were about to do something.
I said, okay, all right. Something is cooking. Something is brewing here. So, okay. Where do you think season 2, because we have a confirmed season 2.
Yes.
Where do you think season 2 is going to go?
Honestly, y'all, I think season 2 is about to take a Silo approach. So if y'all watch Silo. That is on Apple TV Plus. Great show. But a lot of the similarities in the show I saw, a lot of the similarities from Silo I see here. But I think they're going to take a Silo approach, meaning I think that they're going to give us a split story. They're going to explore Xavier taking that plane out, finding his wife, while also showing us the ensuing chaos and rebellion that's about to happen in the cave, because they no longer trust Sinatra. So like, what is the aftermath that's going to happen when that happens? And then, go ahead.
I was just going to say, they don't trust Sinatra. Sinatra's in a coma.
Oh, right. So the vice president,
he got this little nothing vice president. He tried to buck up and yell at them at the end. But everything was built around her. She ran every single thing. She was the one making the decisions. And of course, you got this billionaire club or whatever. But I think it's going to be very interesting to see how everybody is dealing with all of this stuff that's coming out.
Because how do they maintain control? What is the aftermath?
Yeah.
That's going to be, I think, an important story element. And I think moving forward, we have to follow Xavier while he's outside the cave and follow what's happening inside, because who knows, at the end of the season, just like Silo, he could return back with his wife because he has to go back for his kids.
Yeah,
so,
he has to go back.
So it's I mean, he could spend the entire season out looking for his wife, getting into whatever he gets into, but he'll eventually return with his wife, probably. They'll get the kids. He'll have to have his whole family together again. But what will be the state of the cave when he returns? I don't know. But I just feel like it's going to be a split story again, which makes sense.
It's definitely given the rebellion of Silo.
Yeah, it does. It does, man.
It does.
It does.
I think that'll be very, very interesting to see. All right. So, what are you going to give Paradise Season 1 out of 10? Whole show.
This is getting... a 9.5. Hold on. I'm gonna say 9.5 for me.
It's a 9.5 for me.
I'm gonna say 9.5. I
had a good little
time.
Gripes, but I had a good time.
I think all of my nitpicks equal the 0.5. And then the rest of the show, I had a fun time. Sterling was great. James Marsden was great. Each episode left us with a cliffhanger, wanting more. Like I was continuously hooked. Even from episode 1. At the end of 1, I was hooked. When
you realized the sun was fake,
I was like, what? Because it switched the genre. At first I thought it was a
just political thriller. Who killed the president?
I was like, okay, who killed the president? Okay, maybe some political corruption or whatever. But then it introduced a sci-fi element on top of the political aspect. I was like, bro, what genre is this? It just...
It said dawn will be commencing in 2 hours.
Yeah, I didn't...
What? The ducks was fake? The man walked out like Jesus on the pond?
I was like, what is happening?
Ducks? Or when you feel like Billy is about to be the villain, shout out to Billy.
Yeah. Yeah. R.I.P. Billy.
We love you, Billy. Yeah, like it was every single time. We didn't really talk much about like Sinatra and just how her role was so big and her motives continue to change. How like she was just a mom first, and she became like a crime boss and a monster in the end. Or Gabriella and just like her role and how she picked everybody that was gonna be there, and
which is huge.
How do you decide who gets to stay and who doesn't? Like it was just such a good show. I enjoyed so many elements in it,
and it really makes for a good conversation. Like it makes
every single, like we could have did episode by episode. There was something to talk about, little mysteries here and there. Also, what did y'all think those numbers were? I thought it was going to be a plane
tail number,
because they showed those planes like that they came in on. Anyway, but what did y'all think about that? Get in the comments. Let us know. Were you thinking Dewey Decimal System? Because I was not.
I was not at all.
I was not at all. But yeah, I'm going to give it a 9.5. I love the show.
Love it
so much. I hate that it's over.
I would argue that so far, this is the best show we've watched in 2025. So far.
2025? Yeah. What we watching?
We're watching Severance. And Severance is great. But like, that's tough. Severance is great. Severance is like a 9 for me. This is like a little bit higher. I don't know why it's a little higher for me.
My head's not in the Severance mind, so I don't know. But we really, really enjoyed it. So let's get in the comments. Let's talk about it, okay? Make sure you like this video.
Like and subscribe, y'all.
Yes, subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell so you get notifications for when our next video is going to be posted. But thanks for watching, y'all.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll see you later.
All right, see you later.